Hello. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about St. Paddy's Day. Okay, so you've already kind of read what it means to me, so I'm actually going to tell you about my experience. As you can see, I'm wearing a green and white scarf, which I actually got on the day because I realized that you couldn't exactly see my green shirt out from underneath my black raincoat, which didn't really work. So I got a scarf and it's really warm, so it's a great idea. Okay, so oh gosh, that morning I remember getting up at around 7 in the morning because if you were not in city center by about 10, there was no way you'd get there in time, even though the parade didn't even start until noon, and that's when most people would be starting to celebrate. So they started shutting down the city the night before. So it was on the 16th, and it was about 6 p.m. when they started closing off the roads, which wasn't really good for those who had to travel in and out of the city center. So yeah, and then for those of us who had to try and get in, the buses were only running every half an hour to 45 minutes, which isn't normal. Normally it's about every 5-10 minutes a bus will come by. So the entire city was shut down. The buses, oh gosh, getting to city center that day was absolutely terrible. The buses were packed with people. Everyone was wearing green. It was a sight to behold. And then in city center itself, there was decorations everywhere. There were the Irish flag that was flying over every single shop that you would pass by. There was banners that had green and orange and white, and it was, it was unbelievable. It was so cool. And so you're walking down city center, and then they have half of O'Connell Street, which is the main street in Dublin. They have half of that blocked off. So you can't walk on the street. Getting from one side of the street to the other when you're just crossing the sidewalk was absolutely horrendous. But I mean, it was amazing. There were tourists everywhere. Fun fact, St. Paddy's Day is the biggest tourist day of the year for Ireland, which, I mean, it makes sense. St. Paddy's Day is the holiday of Ireland, and I mean, I guess I shouldn't really have been surprised. I was hearing French, Portuguese. There was a couple that was standing right behind me, and gosh, I think they were speaking Mandarin or Cantonese or something like that. It was so cool because everyone who was there was coming together, and if you think about it, they were all coming together to celebrate Ireland and Irishness, and that is absolutely amazing, and it blows my mind, the fact that there are people from all over the world that have this one thing in common. And I mean, on top of that, there was terrible weather. It was cold and it was windy, which is pretty normal for Ireland. And then it started to rain partway through the parade. So what was kind of annoying about that was the 2 days before the parade actually happened, it was nice and sunny and there wasn't a lot of wind and it was beautiful. And then we got the Irish weather for the Irish holiday. So I guess it's fitting in a way. Yeah, and then the parade, which was supposed to start at noon, actually started half an hour late, which was, I mean, can't really complain. It was kind of fun just standing there and watching all the people walk by and seeing people just pack in up to the street. Yeah, and then I mean, the parade was amazing. There were different people from different places all over the world. There were actually people from UW up in Seattle, so University of Washington, and then there was also Oregon. There was also the University of Oregon there too, and so they had bands walking by. They had banners and people representing all of the different parts of Ireland, which was really cool to see. They had different like floats and everything, and it was amazing. In the description of the video and on the blog, I will try and find a link for the parade. So I'll put that in there, and then you guys can see a little bit of it. But oh my gosh, St. Patrick's Day this year, it was just amazing, and it was so cool to be in like the capital city of Ireland on St. Patty's Day, and it was amazing. Yeah, so that's about it for this week. So yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.